Just to wrap up with the work session and the regular meeting for the City of Grand Rapids. Work session this afternoon, Nick Hansen from the YMCA was in and gave us an in-depth report on childcare as it relates to the City of Grand Rapids and the YMCA, the space available and the number of kids that they can handle and what they are doing to accommodate the shortage of daycare, not only in the City of Grand Rapids, but the reconfiguration of how daycare would work at the YMCA to make it affordable from the standpoint of being able to hire full-time staff and stuff out there versus part-time, which will include some building changes and some staffing numbers that would allow us to move from about 76 plus kids up to the potential of 140. At some point in time, I think their goal would be that they could accommodate up to 140 kids, possibly with the addition of some equipment. Also, we heard from Alice Morin from the Human Rights Commission, their budget request for 2020, and the reason that they were increasing a $2,500 increase from $5,000 to $7,500 for the year, which was timely in that we're going to be having a budget meeting this coming Thursday. So knowing why they've got a 50% increase in a budget request is nice to know from that standpoint. A little bit about the council meeting. Some of the things that are happening. We recognized Tom McBride and his group that started a couple of years ago, the Running the Rapids, a very successful activity that was just completed on Saturday in Grand Rapids. Coming up in September, the Pickleball Association that's been active in Grand Rapids is going to be putting a tournament on in Grand Rapids. So we'll have people from outside of the city of Grand Rapids and actually people from outside of the state of Minnesota coming into the community to enjoy our community and spend some of their dollars and play pickleball and work on their health and wellness at the same time. We once again said thank you and goodbye to Jeff Davies. For those of you that were out there last Wednesday to wish him well in his retirement, thank you for coming out. It was a beautiful afternoon and it was a well-attended barbecue and stuff honoring Jeff Davies. And then wanted to acknowledge Affinity Plus Credit Union. They were one of the first organizations in Grand Rapids that adopted a park. And along with that adoption, they committed another $8,000 this year to the resurfacing of the basketball court at Maplewood Park in southeast Grand Rapids. So it's those type of groups and stuff that I have talked about in the past about going above and beyond what is typically expected or what is an obligation as a business or an individual in the city of Grand Rapids. A couple of things that I just wanted to touch on, not a lot on the consent agenda, but we had 14 items and I just wanted to say that 5 of the 14 items were donations. Donations from individuals or organizations, Timberlake Lodge, Affinity Credit Union, couple Robert and Lethea Lemon, to the police department's K-9 program, Waste Management, so an organization donating to Tall Timber Days. Those are the pluses and a lot of things that you don't hear and see. That I did want to recognize and the city recognizes through the acceptance of those donations on our consent agenda. Tonight we had a relatively short regular agenda. We did have a department head report. As you have heard in the past, we've been looking at how we can better utilize housing redevelopment in the city of Grand Rapids and in Itasca County, trying to merge the departments and the activities to better facilitate the movement and the occupancy of the apartments. So Diane Larson was in this evening, talked a little bit about that, and here's some interesting facts. Grand Rapids HRA has 92 units of public housing, and to get into those units, your income has to be $13,350 or less. We have 48 units at Crystal Lake Townhomes where you have to be making $17,630 or less. And then we got 96 units of pooled housing. So McKinney Lake out there is 55 plus, and Lakeshore Place and Forest Park West, between those two there are 96 units, and those are market rate housing. The standards and stuff, as you take a look at what constitutes the need for support and help, Diane told us that in the state of Minnesota, there are 580,000 households that it's 30% or more of their cost on a monthly, what their income is monthly, goes to housing, which includes utilities, which takes a big chunk of what your income is, and it certainly restricts what you can do then as a family or an individual with the remainder of what you make on a monthly basis. So having supportive housing and stuff out there and those type of opportunities is great. 84 of 87 counties have a shortage of affordable housing. 84 of 87 counties in the state of Minnesota. So it's not just an issue in Grand Rapids, it's an issue in the state of Minnesota of how we can work and create opportunities for people to come in. We're always looking for people, you see help wanted, or we're hiring. Well, those people that are coming in and they're going to maybe get a job at 13, 14 bucks an hour have to have a place that they can stay, that they can afford, so they can hopefully be at or below that 30% number that we were talking about from a livable standard. So City of Grand Rapids started their HRA in 1966. Itasca County got into housing redevelopment in 1972. And this is 2019. I think it's time that we work at trying to merge those two departments, and it's been working very well under Diane Larson's leadership of trying to form, and that decision will be made at some point in time in the near future, how successful and what direction they will take from the standpoint going forward. Then Dale Anderson was in from the Civic Center Park and Rec, and he talked about that $8,000 donation that I talked about. We need to accept that. They're going to overlay that, and the city is putting in, it's $12,300 to overlay that basketball court up there at Maplewood Park, and the city's Park and Rec department is going to be putting $4,300 to match the $8,000 to get the $12,300 cost for Hawkinson to overlay that basketball court. Finally, Matt Wegworth was in. We talked about engineering and the work that was needed on the Horn Bridge, which is the one that crosses the river and goes up 7th towards the airport. We had budgeted $75,000. The bid to come in, that came in to resurface that project, was actually only about $72,000, so under budget. The work will be starting somewhere around September 9th. It's going to take 3 to 4 weeks, but you will see adequate notice and stuff in the papers and out there as we get ready to do that, that there's going to be single lane at times during the day while they're working on that for about 3 to 4 weeks. So have some patience, and thank you to all of you who were out. We just finished up a very active, what I call summer-fall session between Tall Timber Days, the car show, the Itasca County Fair. My wife and I had the opportunity to get over there 3 or 4 of the evenings out of the 5 days of the fair, and I've saw more people walking around, visiting and stuff, and having something to eat, kids going on rides. So a lot of great opportunities to get out and enjoy this community. There are still a lot of great opportunities coming up to get out and enjoy the community as we reach fall. Keep in mind that Tuesday is the start of school, so be extra cautionary in the school zones out there, that when you're driving around that there might be little folks that don't pay as much attention as we should, that might run out, and we need to be careful. The last thing we want to see, and the last thing that I'm sure any resident or driver out there wants to do, is to be in an accident that involves hitting someone in a school zone. So with that, we look forward to our next council meeting wrap-up on September 9th, Monday, September 9th. Take care and have a good day, and we will talk to you then. Thank you.